It's actually a pretty nice December day. Pardon me, I'm getting over the crud. I got my stack train going by because I haven't run the layout in over 3 weeks from being on vacation and not being here. But in this video, I'm going to go over or fix my lift out to where it functions actually as a lift out by fixing this track in this area, so it'll come up pretty easy. Anyway, give me a sec and we'll get started. Alright, I got the train put up and I went ahead and drew a line right here. You can't see it, or if you can see that, marking this side of the edge for this track, this track, and this track. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these 2 9-inch sections. I want to shift them this way for all 3 and then kind of get them tacked in place. And then I got to figure out filling in the gaps on this side and on this side. And then the other thing to work on is fixing the track in place and making it to where the lift out at a joint, because the track won't move, the track won't fit together, it'll just line up to that one, and hopefully won't cause me any trouble. So I've never done this before, so this should be fun. And I'm also low on connector pieces, but I have a bunch over here, so I'm going to try to pull from this big conglomeration of connector pieces and use that as needed. So let me get back to work, and give me a sec, and I'm going to work on this some more. Alright, I got the ends basically with nothing on them now, on these 2 9-inch sections that I was talking about or showed earlier. Got this side done, this side done. Now I'm going to get those mounted to the actual lift out section, because these will, I'm trying to do that first. I think with doing this, doing the lift out kind of will dictate the how this end and that end on the track up there will go, and let me figure out that as I need to. But I need to get these in place to be able to do that. So I got this these ends cut off and smoothed off to be able to do that. So let's keep moving forward. Now I just need to get those up there, drill some holes, get these mounted with some screws, and go from there. So give me a sec and we'll move on. Alright, we're cooking with some grease or some coal or some oil or whatever. I got these sections screwed down. Basically started in the center, drilled a hole, drilled a countersink hole, and put the screw in. So I got one in the center and one on each end. And you can see my lift out. It wasn't without complications. I think I was running my drill a little fast for this. Recommendations are to drill the hole through the track and then let the screw drill into the wood while you hold it really secure where you need it. I've had to adjust these a little bit, and luckily I was able to line the ends up to match more of the track that it's going to connect to. I'll shine some light on the subject here. I've redid this, added that re-railer section there just because this is a siding, extra re-railer to help. These sections here are my insulated rail gaps for the power district. I was thinking about adding some more over here, or further down the line, but all my trains have some sort of go pack or I can't think of the other word, but makes it run even when there's no power for a certain length of time, like 3 to 7 seconds. So if I rail gap it and my train runs across it, it's going to still keep going. So when this is out, I got to devise a way to block the track, which part of it will be this lift out. So like I can take the lift out, put over here, and I need to make something over here that if I forget that the lift out is not in place, the train will come along and hit that and not right off and hit the floor, because you've seen it in previous videos. This locomotive did just that, and it had to get rebuilt with some super glue, because it was like Back to the Future when the train went off the bridge and landed on the floor. So if that one landed in the valley and blew up. Alright, on to getting the track connected back together and figuring out some power, and should be getting close to being done with this. So after looking at the parts I had, I'm going to use the these insulating sections that I had separating the north wall and the east wall as the anchor points, and I went ahead and prepped them over here on the table, because when I go to screw them to the board, they gotta be pretty much spot on, and I don't want them moving. And I also had to move the shelf to be able to do that. Hold on, I'll show you. So I had to take this shelf out so I can get the drill in here to mount these. But I went ahead and prepped them so that when I attach them to this board, or this board, they will be in the correct spot. And that will be the anchor point that this track connects into, because this stuff's easy to kind of move around. Even as it sits, you can kind of flex it some, move it back and forth a little bit. It has some play, unlike like a traditional track. So that's kind of one advantage of this stuff, is when you do something like this, you can move it around, because when you make a circle or some kind of loop coming back to itself, you got to flex it to get the last two sections to connect. And with what I'm working with, my corner way down there and that corner will allow this to slide so that I can connect it in. I have some play, but I have to be careful with that, because it can get it out of adjustment, alignment. Get it too close to the wall or whatever. So I don't want to move it too much, but I can move it some. So I'm gonna get these screwed in, and then fill in the gaps with the extra pieces. But I picked that shelf up with everything on it and put it right there, except for that set, because it's heavy and that's my favorite set, and I didn't want it to fall. So anyway, let me get back to it. Alright, I got this side somewhat done. I'm going to come back right here where the lift out section is and use my Dremel and kind of make these rails even, because they're a little off because of the woodwork. But in theory, that comes out, those stay put. Put it back. I do need to add a piece back here, kind of like this, because this board can go like that. I don't want it to do that. So that's something else to fix real quick. But this side is in. I'm using number 6 by 1-inch screws here to hold this all down. That's what I had. So you could use whatever. Like I said, I drilled holes and then I drilled a countersink hole. And for the most part, I think this is going to work. It's just I have a slight angle from the lift out to this shelf, because this shelf and all this isn't perfectly level. It's actually on a slight incline going one of the ways, I think. but I'll figure it out and make it work. Anyway, I gotta do this side now, so let me get to that. Give me a sec. Alright, I got the lift out in. So basically, I can take it out and I can put it in. Still need to put something back there, and I need to work on this side some more because this board's not as flush and I'm getting a little bit of unevenness right here. And last, it needs power. I ran a test train over it real quick, and of course the co-pack didn't have time to charge up, so it would stop, but it would make it most of the way across before it stopped. And I was running it at different speeds on all 3 tracks, and no issues with that train. Of course, it was 1 locomotive and 3 box cars, but I need to do some fine improvement so that longer and bigger trains will not have any issues. So let me see about that. Alright, I got some power to this thing, and so far trains aren't having too much issue. I gotta try some other ones. I already ran another train across my stack train and didn't have any problems. Went on both mains and all went well. I'm going to cover a couple things and probably wrap this video up. So this was something I attempted to do to see if I could do it. I'm pretty sure there's better ways to do this in terms of fastening the track down and providing power, but I used what I had on hand and didn't try to spend a whole lot of time trying to figure out some elaborate way to be able to do this. Something to note is when drilling through these and using screws, because all this lattice work or whatever you want to call it under here, that was grabbing the screws and shifting them to some degree. So that's something to be aware of. But in the end, I did have one really light car that popped a wheel off. It didn't derail, or well, it derailed, but it kept going. It was it didn't fall off the track or anything. So, but I'll call this a win. I got a lift out like I wanted with Easy Track. So if you have any questions, comments, whatever, leave them down below. Later.